David and Maria had been married for 2 years. Maria, a former English teacher, now spent her days caring for their son, Ethan. David, an engineer, was passionate about his work, but his hectic schedule left him little time for his family. While he was away, Maria looked forward to receiving emails from her old friend, Laura, who now lived in Japan. Laura's letters were a lifeline for Maria, but they also made her feel a pang of jealousy. Laura was living a life full of adventure and excitement, while Maria felt trapped and suffocated. She often thought of her students, her old life, and her dreams. After I found out I passed the civil service exam, my girlfriend's mother asked me to give up my spot and let her daughter take the spot instead. I initially thought it was her personal decision, but then my girlfriend also threatened me, saying, "Anyway, I'm going to marry you. Whether you passed or I passed, it's the same thing, right? If you don't want to, then we'll break up." Well then, the first sort upon reaching the shore is to sever ties with the one you love. She gave me 2 pieces of good news directly. Chapter 1. I topped the civil service exam comprehensive score, so I was pretty much set to be safe after the interview. I took a day off and then came to do a pre-check. There was a bit of a line ahead. As soon as I took out my phone, I received a message from my girlfriend's mom. Her tone was very affectionate, which was actually the first time I'd felt that way. The message read, "David, I heard you were first in both the written and interview exams. Congratulations for me in advance. Maria, this kid, although she made it to the interview, didn't perform well and got eliminated. Relatives and friends are asking if you passed, but I don't know how to bring it up. You're easy to worry about, not only smart, but lucky too." I replied, telling her not to be upset with Maria, that Maria had worked hard too. After replying, I casually checked the chat history with my girlfriend, Maria. The last message was from the day before yesterday. She sent her congratulations with a yellow bean smile emoji. I could understand Maria's reaction. We both applied for the same position in the provincial exam, but only one person would be accepted. I got the spot, and she didn't. It's only natural that she would be upset. My dad had asked around before. This position offers great salary and benefits, and the direct supervisor is competent. The prospects are very good, so when it came time to choose a position, I picked this one without hesitation. On the last day of the application, Maria asked me which position I was applying for. I didn't think too much about it and just sent her a screenshot. Then, when I printed out the admission ticket, something unexpected happened. Her admission ticket showed a different position from what she had mentioned before, not in her hometown H city, but the same position as mine, a municipal department in S city. I asked, "Didn't you apply for your hometown, Maria?" Maria and I were classmates in college. My family is from S city and hers is from H city. Her family was concerned about her moving too far away, so they wanted her to return and develop there. I vaguely remembered her mentioning this. Maria seriously told me that although she had applied for the 3 supports and 1 poverty alleviation program in her hometown and had studied well for it, she thought if she could try for the S city position, it might help convince her parents to let her stay here with me. She hadn't expected it to match up with mine. Just as I was thinking, Maria's mom sent another message. Maria didn't pass the 3 supports and 1 poverty alleviation. This was her best result, 2nd overall. "David, I'd like to discuss something with you." She didn't pass the exam. No wonder she didn't bring it up later. And about this interview. After the interview, I asked Maria about the result, but she wouldn't say anything. So she came 2nd. I had a bad feeling staring at the messages popping up on my screen, but I didn't rush to reply. Sure enough, Maria's mom asked, "Do you think you can give up your spot and let Maria take it instead? You're smart and hardworking. You can always try again next time. Maybe even do better." But Maria is not as lucky. This is the best result she could get, and I promise you once she reports, you two can get engaged. How about it? How do I feel about it? I don't feel good about it at all. Maria's mom really thought she could say such a thing. During the preparation for the exam, I woke up at 6 a.m. and slept at 11 p.m. every day. From morning to night, I took online courses, watched the news, memorized key phrases. The notes I wrote, the practice papers I did, the mistakes I reviewed stacked up to half a person's height. I never worked this hard, even for the college entrance exam. The preparation for the interview was even more intense. I practiced in front of the mirror, with the camera, with my family. In the end, my parents would rather stay in a hotel than come home. I could only practice with my cat Big Orange. I practiced so much that Big Orange barely ate for a week. She says I'm lucky? A light-hearted comment about being lucky and smart doesn't erase all the effort I put in. I felt a surge of anger. Chapter 2. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. I paused for about 2 minutes before I started typing my reply. Auntie, I'm sorry, but I can't agree. Just because I might pass next time doesn't mean I should give up my spot this time. Halfway through typing, Maria's call came through. As soon as I answered, I heard her speaking. Honey, don't listen to my mom. She's just doing this because she saw me so upset and made this decision on her own. For some reason, hearing Maria's voice immediately calmed me down. I'd never felt so calm before. It was as if my soul and body had separated. I heard myself speak calmly. I'm outside and the internet isn't great, so I didn't see Annie's message. What did she say? There was a brief pause on the other end. Then I heard Maria speak awkwardly. You didn't see it? I asked. Was it something important? Don't worry. No matter what Annie said, I'll understand her. Maria replied, Well, not really. It's just that my mom feels sorry for me. Please don't take it out on her. I kept my face neutral but deliberately softened my voice as I said, Of course not. After all, she's my future mother-in-law. I'm going for my physical now. The doctor is hurrying me. I'll hang up first. Maria replied, Wait a second. Suddenly, she called out to stop me. Her tone was downcast as she said, I went to the hospital today. The checkup showed mild depression. The doctor said it's from the pressure of the civil service exam. Maria hesitated as she spoke. I knew her well, and when she lies, she always sounds like this. So what happened today might not have been entirely her mom's decision. It's possible she had some plans of her own. Mental scars can be healed. The mind, that's another story. I replied, The signal here isn't great. I can't hear clearly. If there's something, just message me on WeChat. I hung up the phone. The doctor in the examination room had already grown a bit impatient. I calmed myself down and apologized to him. The doctor didn't say much, but as usual he asked a few questions. After learning I was doing a pre-check for a physical exam, he congratulated me. He even joked, No wonder you forgot the checkup. You must have been busy sharing the good news with your girlfriend. I awkwardly smiled and said, Actually, my girlfriend and her mom were just trying to convince me to give up my spot so she can take it. The doctor was speechless. He extended his hand with sincerity and said, Congratulations, my man. You've got 2 pieces of good news, getting on shore and a breakup. Chapter 3. I froze for a moment. The doctor's expression immediately changed. He frowned and said, No way. If you can't separate this, I'll separate you with a forklift. His eyes were full of righteous indignation and frustration. I couldn't help but laugh out loud, and the anger and frustration I'd been feeling just melted away, completely calm. I suddenly realized a lot of things. For example, the day before the written exam, Maria asked to meet up to cheer me on. Halfway through dinner, over something small, she suddenly got angry, saying I didn't care about her or consider her feelings. She started bringing up old issues we'd already resolved. We had a huge argument, and it got really ugly. In the end, she threw out the line, Let's take a break and cool off, and walked off. Around 2 or 3 in the morning, I got a call from my dad. He said, David, I never interfere with your love life, but I'm not too fond of this girlfriend of yours. To be honest, all couples fight, but when you two fight, what's with your girlfriend's mom coming to our house in the middle of the night causing a scene? She came over crying and yelling, saying you abandoned her daughter and should compensate her for her lost youth. Do you know about this? I was speechless. That was also the first time I found out that my considerate, understanding girlfriend had so many complaints about me. Considering what happened today with her and her mom, I suddenly understood. So when she started the argument before the written exam, it was all a mind game. If I didn't have a strong mindset, I probably would have failed the exam. Looking back, the phone call on the day of the interview wasn't a coincidence either. On interview day, Maria asked me to take her to the exam site. We had just made up, but I still had some unresolved feelings, so I directly refused her. I told her I'd just eat near the exam site and walk there, not planning to detour to pick her up. Around 7, when I was about to leave, my dad encouraged me. Son, just do your best. If you don't pass, take another exam. He smiled and said, Our family isn't short on money. Even if you lie flat and don't work, it's fine, don't worry. I nodded and was about to leave when I had a strange instinct that made me stop. I left all my electronic devices with my dad and asked him to keep them safe before I entered the gate. In the last moment before the exam, I saw Maria, who had arrived late. She looked at me strangely, almost in shock. After the interview, my dad approached and asked, "Son, how did the exam go?" I let out a long breath and said, "It's pretty much stable." My dad smiled widely, saying, "I knew you'd make it. We'll go out for a big meal later with your mom. By the way, did your girlfriend go to the interview?" I replied, "Yeah, but she doesn't seem to care much about the position. She came right at the deadline." My dad nodded and said, "Well, that's good. I just got a scam call saying your girlfriend had a car accident and was in the hospital." At that time, the interview was about to start. My dad, although suspicious it was a scam, still went to the hospital. It turned out no one named Maria had been admitted to the hospital. On that hot summer day, a cold chill ran down my back. If I had received that call instead, would I have given up on the interview and gone to the hospital? From the written exam to the interview, twice now Maria had messed with my mindset, and today's little drama, everything interlocking. Who knows what else is waiting for me? I suddenly felt a bit relieved that I hadn't ripped her apart right away. Maybe she had some other tricks waiting for me. Was it the upcoming formal physical examination and political review, or was she planning to sabotage me during the announcement period? We've been together for 4 years, and I never saw Maria as such a sinister, poisonous person. Is she so desperate for this position that she would go this far, or has she always been this cruel? It's just a position. Is it really worth doing all this for? I don't understand, and honestly, I don't want to understand. Why should I try to understand the twisted logic of a brainless person? Hey, kid, the doctor waved his hand and asked, "What are you thinking so deeply about?" I lay on the examination bed, sighed deeply, and said, "I'm thinking how blind I must be to have been with someone like that for 4 years." Chapter 4. The test results came out quickly, and my indicators were mostly normal. Only 2 values were a bit high, and the doctor holding the report advised, "Drink more water and rest more. These 2 values will drop soon." Overall, the physical exam is fine, don't worry. Of course, the most important thing is I focused on listening to the doctor's advice. His voice suddenly rose, and "You must break up," I responded. "Okay, I've always been someone who listens to advice." After leaving the hospital, I bought a bottle of water and drank it all down, then hailed a car to S University. The plump counselor, Teacher Ma, seemed a bit surprised to see me. He asked, "Why are you here now? Done with your thesis?" I replied, "Almost." "Teacher Ma, are you busy? I'd like to talk to you about something." Teacher Ma pushed up his glasses, and a kind smile appeared on his plump face. He handed me a glass of water. Teacher Ma is quite an inspirational figure. He came from a poor mountain area, worked hard, and became a university student. He's very efficient in his work, never dragging things out. I heard that when he was young, someone tricked him into giving up his bride price. Instead of letting it slide, he sent the woman's family to jail, and from then on he focused solely on his career. I also heard he's about to be promoted soon. Teacher Ma listened patiently as I explained that it was a relationship issue. He instinctively asked, "Did you finally break up with Maria?" "That girl, she's too distracted." "Did you hear about the recommendation for graduate school?" I was stunned. How could Maria have done so many shameless things behind my back? There was a recommendation spot for graduate school in our department, and it was between Chloe and me. I had a high GPA but lacked awards. Chloe had good professional skills but only average grades, so the school had been torn. But overall they leaned toward Chloe. However, Chloe gave up the graduate school recommendation to prepare for the civil service exam, and I was preparing for the same, so the spot should have gone to the second-place person. But what does this have to do with Maria? What was she up to now? Teacher Ma sighed. "Maria came to see me and said you weren't planning to pursue graduate school, but wanted to take the civil service exam, so you were giving up the recommendation spot for her." I refused. She said that as long as she could get the recommendation, she would do whatever it took. I sent her back. I heard she then went to the department head. That guy's temper. He scolded her badly. The department head said, "It's not just her losing face. It's the whole school's shame if we produce students like her. That girl is really stupid, malicious, and shameless." Thinking about how I was with her for 4 years, I almost wanted to slap myself in the face. But it's better to realize it now than later, when I've been completely deceived. I gritted my teeth and said, "Teacher Ma, I had no idea about this." A look of disdain flashed in Teacher Ma's eyes, and he said, I knew you weren't that stupid. So why did you come to me? I told him about Maria's mother and Maria's manipulative tactics. Teacher Ma slammed his hand on the desk furiously, exclaiming, "Break up! Hurry up and break up! How can you still be hesitating? I'll call your parents right now. Do you know that being a simp will leave you with nothing in the end?" I breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed Teacher Ma was on my side. So this was already half settled. That night, Maria called me. She asked why I hadn't returned her calls. I said my phone had run out of battery and I'd been too tired after the physical exam all day to notice. He responded with an "oh," then hesitated before asking how I was thinking. I put the phone on speaker and my parents were listening from the side, their faces turning dark. My dad pulled out some quick-acting heart-saving pills from under the coffee table, taking two with my mom to calm themselves down. I said, "I saw Andy's message, Maria. Don't you think this is a bit inappropriate?" Maria seemed anxious. She snorted and said, "What's wrong with that? As a girl, it's hard enough to find a job. What do you want me to do besides? I'm going to marry you anyway, whether I pass the civil service exam or you do. It's the same, right?" I was speechless. "If it's the same, then why do you want me to give up my spot?" She continued. "Also, can you have some ambition? Just thinking about passing the civil service exam to live on a fixed salary? What's there to be proud of? Who said men must have ambition? If you want ambition, go have your own. Why guilt-trip me about it?" She went on. "David, we've been together for so many years. If I didn't love you, why would I have stayed by your side? But you're always so content with the status quo. Your parents work for their money, but you need to work hard to build your own future. That's how you prove your worth." Here we go again, the gold digger starting the moral lecture. What she's saying is women's companionship is companionship, men's isn't. And why do I need to prove my worth? Why can't I just inherit my family's business and live a peaceful life? If you don't like it, break up and find a simp with ambition. Why don't you do that? It's because they don't have money, right? You want both, but can't have both. She said, "Don't worry about it. How about this? If you agree, I'll promise to marry you after the announcement period is over." I laughed. People who use marriage as a bargaining chip. Can I really expect her to genuinely want to marry me? Just watch. Once you agree to this condition, it won't be up to you anymore. They'll keep raising the stakes. For example, she might say, "I agreed to marry you, but it's not unconditional. You'll have to give me a dowry." She continued, "You'll be responsible for making money, and I'll be responsible for being beautiful. How wonderful." I felt a vein throbbing on my forehead. How could this gold digger say such shameless things? Maria always threw tantrums, so I'd always pacify and indulge her. Because of this, I rarely disagreed with her, and she thought she could easily control me. Maybe this civil service spot idea came from the last time when she tried to take the graduate school spot. I glanced at the phone still recording and told, "Don't get worked up. Excessive emotions will affect the physical exam results." I said, "This doesn't seem to be in line with the rules." Maria seemed to relax and said, "What's wrong with it? You just need to write an application. If you don't want to write it, we can find someone else to do it, and you can just sign it. It's hard to explain over the phone. I'll send it to you on WeChat." Chapter 5. I kept stalling Maria. After several days, on the day before my physical exam, she finally couldn't hold back any longer and came to question me at the coffee shop. She spoke in an aggressive tone. "Did you change your mind? You don't want to give up the spot anymore?" I pretended to hesitate. "This is a pretty big deal after all. I want to talk it over with my parents." She rolled her eyes. "Are you some mama's boy, always discussing with your parents? Can't you make a decision on your own?" I frowned, but she said, "But what? You're unbelievable. We've been together for 4 years, and you won't even agree to this small request? You clearly don't love me at all." "Yeah, you love me. You love playing me like a game." Maria's eyes turned red and the tears started flowing instantly, making her look pitiful. Quite a few people around us glanced over at our table, fighting my disgust. I quickly tried to soothe her. "How could that be? Of course I love you." She choked up. "If you really loved me, why are you unwilling to sacrifice just a little for me?" I put on a torn expression and said, "I do. I never said I wouldn't. But I gave up my graduate school recommendation to take the civil service exam. I finally have a chance to get on shore, and you want me to give it up? I really can't accept that. Besides, the physical exam is tomorrow. Let's talk about it after I'm done, okay?" Maria slammed her hands on the table and stood up, her eyes burning with rage. She was so agitated, her face twisted slightly. Biting her lip, she said in the end, "You're just selfish. If you stay this selfish, maybe we should separate for a while to cool down." Unbelievable. I clenched my fists, barely holding back the urge to give her a piece of my mind. The cafe owner came over, patted my shoulder, and said, "Bro, being a simp doesn't get you anywhere. You may have lost a gold digger, but you're getting yourself a stable position." I nodded in agreement. And here's the funny thing. It was almost like big data was monitoring me. That very evening, I stumbled across a live stream warning viewers not to be simps and to focus on their careers. Every word was gold, each sentence inspiring. You can always meet women later, but if you miss out on your career, it's not coming back. That pretty much describes my situation exactly. On the day of the physical exam, Maria showed up even earlier than I did. Me, the one actually taking the exam. I asked, "Maria, what are you doing here?" She gave me a sweet smile, but if you looked closely, her eyes weren't smiling. She said, "How could I not come on the day of your exam? I was too impatient before. I'm happy for you if you make it on shore." She handed me a paper bag. "I was worried you'd be hungry, so I brought you breakfast." I took the bag, wearing a touched expression. "Maria, you're so kind." A few men nearby who were busy scanning the venue code looked like they were being force-fed public displays of affection. After the staff verified everyone's identities and sorted us into groups, our bus started heading to the designated hospital. A guy sitting in front of us turned around and said, "Hey man, your girlfriend treats you really well, bringing you food and drinks." What a coincidence. It was one of the witnesses from earlier. I smiled and said, "Yeah, she's great. Yesterday she was telling me to give up my spot so she could take it." He was at a loss for words. "Just pretend I didn't say anything. I must be blind, my bad." He cracked me up with that. Maybe this was a good omen. Aside from taking a long time, the entire physical exam went smoothly. 2 days later, I was resting at home when someone knocked on my bedroom door. My parents came in looking anxious, accompanied by 2 police officers. It turned out someone had anonymously reported that I was taking drugs. There was no need to guess who. It had to be Maria. I'd known she'd pull something, but I didn't think she'd wait this long or start with something so extreme and straight away. It was a big one. Chapter 6. I cooperated with the police investigation. The urine test results showed I was innocent, confirming that it was all a false alarm. The officer handling the case looked puzzled. "Young man, did you offend someone?" he asked. I gave a bitter laugh and said, "If I had to guess, it'd be my girlfriend. We both applied for the same position in the provincial exam. I got the highest overall score when she was second. She's been trying to convince me to give up my spot so she can move up." The officer, still serious, said, "Well, you two shouldn't have applied for the same position in the first place." I sighed. "Tell me about it." Who would have thought Maria would fail the written exam for the 3 supports and 1 poverty alleviation program she'd been preparing for so long? Who would have guessed that from the start she had her sights set on the position I applied for, and that it wasn't just a coincidence like she claimed? Who'd have imagined she'd go to such extremes? "Officer, I suspect my ex-girlfriend might have tried to poison me." His eyes narrowed. "Tell me specifically what happened." I recounted everything from the beginning right up to the day of my physical exam, when she brought me something to eat. The police asked, "I didn't see any of those items at your house." I felt they were bad luck, so I didn't even touch them. "I put them in a storage locker at a supermarket near the hospital," I explained. I thought for a moment, then pulled a barcode slip from my pocket. "Oh, good thing I didn't lose this. I frequent that supermarket. It has good surveillance, and anything left in the lockers is kept by the service center for 3 days. Within those 3 days, you can retrieve it with the barcode." Honestly, even if Maria hadn't tried anything else, I planned to call the police. Who knows what more she'd do for a stable position? There's no such thing as guarding against thieves forever. I need to take the initiative and make her behave. There was already a suspicious bottle of water with a broken seal among the breakfast items she gave me. I'd never drink that. And in fact, this was her second time trying to drug me. Previously, when Maria asked to meet at a cafe, she'd pre-ordered a bottle of something for me. But we ended up arguing and parted ways on bad terms. Usually when I'm emotional, I guzzle down water. I almost fell into her trap that day. Luckily, as soon as I twisted the cap, I realized something was off. That cap had been opened before, so I asked the cafe owner to let me check the surveillance footage. It turns out he's a minor internet celebrity who often posts videos about healthy relationship values. After hearing what happened, he immediately helped me review the footage. The camera angle caught the entire exchange perfectly. He told me, "If you want to file a police report, I can testify for you. Let's exchange contact information. I'll send you the video so you can keep it as evidence." I was extremely grateful. He hesitated for a moment, then asked, "Bro, is it okay if I share your story online?" He promised to blur any identifying info so my real identity wouldn't be exposed. I laughed, "Sure, but maybe wait a few days, at least until the public announcement period is over." "No problem," he said. "I'll edit the video and post it once you've passed the announcement period. Meanwhile, I'll put out a clip advising men to focus on their careers, not to be spineless pushovers for women." Before I left, we shook hands. "Thanks, man. I've been following you for a while, and I really enjoy all your videos," I told him. He usually records his videos in his cafe. When Maria and I first visited, we happened to catch him filming. Maria even joked about following him in case we ended up in one of his videos someday. She sure called it. Maybe it was fate. After leaving the police station, I saw my parents outside, worried to the point of panic. My mom's eyes were red, her hair a mess, and her clothes disheveled. My dad was in slightly better shape, although the ground was littered with cigarette butts. The smell of smoke nearly choked me. My mom cried as she patted my back. "You crazy kid, don't take such risks next time." There was surveillance at the rendezvous point, and I'd made sure to stand right where it was clearest. I also had witnesses, including the guy who sat in front of me on the bus, thanks to his commentary. Everyone on the bus knew what Maria had done, and there was a live camera on the bus too. Plus, we'd been seated right under it. From the moment I took her bag of food, everything was on record, enough to prove my innocence. But I admit it was risky. Still, dealing with a snake like Maria, I had no other choice. Chapter 7. What is the fastest way to ruin a man? Accusing him of forcing or harassing someone. Spreading rumors is cheap, and often a single sentence can destroy a man's reputation, becoming a tool for malicious people to attack others. Maria was well aware of this and had already started putting it into action. When the police showed up, she was in the process of writing a false accusation about me, claiming I forced her, with photos showing injuries she had made up with makeup. If I hadn't acted decisively and counterattacked immediately, I would have been the one in the passive position. Today, once these photos spread, even if I could prove they were fake, it would still cause a huge mess in my life. I'm thankful to the police officer for adding another charge to her record. The officer looked at me with a disapproving expression and said, "Young man, make sure you keep your eyes open when it comes to relationships in the future." I thanked him, saying, "Thank you, officer, for handling the case so promptly. The consequences would have been unimaginable if you hadn't acted quickly. Once this is settled, I'll send you a banner of appreciation." He chuckled and replied, "Haha, I'll be waiting for your banner." The political review process went smoothly. It went so smoothly, it almost felt unreal. Teacher Ma took a personal interest in my case, and the review list was something we worked on together. In the end, we selected a few classmates, two of my trustworthy roommates, Chloe, who succeeded in the graduate school exam, and a classmate who had received an offer from a major company. The last one was a student from the neighboring class who passed the national exam. They were all good people without ulterior motives, people I could trust completely. As for Maria, she had no chance to cause trouble anymore. She had already been detained the day I reported her. The evidence was solid and she hadn't been released yet. It was likely only a matter of time before she'd be behind bars. After seeing off the staff handling the political review, one of my roommates, looking conflicted, said, "Earlier they asked me what your weaknesses were, and I accidentally blurted out something. I said you eat a lot, like a week's worth of food in one meal." "Man, I didn't just ruin you, I replied, "Nah, it's fine." Another roommate asked, "So I said you study too hard, always in the library making everyone else feel pressured. That's okay, right?" I replied, "Should be fine." No wonder the staff member who interviewed me had a smile on his face with a bit of a teasing expression. He said, "Your friends are pretty good." I smiled and replied, "Yeah, they are pretty great. Not everyone is as selfish and malicious as Maria. My friends are all genuine." "David," Chloe called out to me as my roommates shoved me playfully and ran off. She walked over, congratulated me first, then smiled and said, Good thing you stayed clear-headed. I really thought you'd fall for her tricks. Chloe and Maria were roommates. According to Chloe, after Maria failed the 3 supports and 1 poverty alleviation exam, she came back to campus and went on a rampage. She said she failed and was upset for several days. Later, when it was time to register for the provincial exam, Maria waited until the last possible day to choose a position. Chloe came back to the dorm and overheard Maria bragging to her. "Girl, let me tell you, this position is amazing. My boyfriend must have asked around about it. So what if he applied for it? He doesn't necessarily have to pass. If he passes, I have ways to stop him from taking it." Chloe recalled, disgust evident in her voice. She pressed her lips together and said, "It wasn't until I saw the shortlist and heard from Teacher Ma that I realized what she was up to." I smiled and said, "Your girlfriend might betray you, but your job won't. I've worked so hard for this. I'm not going to let some dog bite me now that I'm about to get a stable position." Chloe laughed at that. After knowing each other for so long, I only just noticed she had 2 little canine teeth. Chapter 8. Today is Friday, the last day of the announcement period. Everything has finally settled. I came back to the dorm and hadn't even taken off my coat when my roommate stopped me. "David, is that you on the campus news wall?" I asked what. I opened it and checked. The last post on the confession wall had a few screenshots dated quite a while ago. A student had posted a question. He said his girlfriend insisted on applying for the same position as him, and he got accepted, but she didn't. So his girlfriend and her mother asked him to give up his spot so she could take it. The guy said he didn't want to give up his hard-earned opportunity, but his girlfriend was really angry and accused him of being selfish. The last part of the chat had him asking everyone, "If it were you, would you give up your spot?" The post also included screenshots of his chat with his girlfriend and her mother. Then there was another post. No images, just text. It read, "The good news is he refused." Now that his public announcement period is over, the post was shared. Here's some advice for all the men out. Be a real man, not a simp. Humility doesn't earn respect. Begging doesn't get you true love. Focus on making money. It's more important than anything. My roommates started discussing it in a flurry, each with their own opinion. One roommate said, "This thing has gone viral. It's even trending now. Several social media platforms are picking it up." Someone else said, "Some people are even saying it's a staged event from our school." Another roommate added, "Exactly. And there's a simp criticizing this guy for being narrow-minded. It's hilarious. He probably thinks he looks like a real man in front of women, but in men's eyes he's just a tool." A different roommate agreed. "Yeah. At first we didn't think it was you, but the more we looked at the post, the more we realized everything matches up with you." Then a classmate from the neighboring dorm came by. "Hey, what's up with so many gold diggers? I just saw a video from a blogger. Apparently there was another guy in the same situation and the woman tried to poison him. I looked and sure enough it was a blogger I'd been following." He explained the situation clearly in a few sentences. At the end of the video, he responded to the people who criticized him for doing it for publicity and riding the wave. He said, "I stand by everything I said, and the official announcement should be made today or by Monday. The truth will come out soon enough." It didn't take long, and the official announcement was released. It quickly climbed the trending charts. A blue background with white text, the official notice. The dormitory erupted in chaos. It wasn't just our room. Several classmates from the neighboring dorm came rushing over. Someone asked, "David, is this Lou woman Maria? Can't believe she's that kind of person." Another person nodded. "First asking you to give up your spot was bad enough. Now she's trying to poison you, and even wrote a fake accusation." Someone else asked, "Yeah, David, are you okay? It shouldn't be a big deal, right? The announcement period's almost over, and it's almost after hours now." I felt really touched and smiled as I responded, "It's all fine now. It's over. After the announcement period, if anyone tries anything, they won't have a chance. Tonight, I'll treat everyone to skewers. Consider it a celebration of my success." The Maria's in trouble now. Her family is still around, and they'll definitely hate me for reporting her. With their values, I can't predict what they might do. They're the type to retaliate during the announcement period if they have the chance. So I not only had to clear my name, but I also had to make sure I kept evidence preserved. Public opinion and justice always have to side with the righteous. I'm very lucky. I've encountered nothing but good people, and everyone has been so kind. They've been more than willing to help me. If it weren't for that, things wouldn't have progressed so smoothly. Chapter 9. The success in the civil service exam. Our whole family is overjoyed these days. My parents won't let go of their phones. They're constantly making calls and sending messages. Friends they hadn't seen in years all wanted to catch up. A distant uncle asked, "How have you been lately?" My dad replied, "Oh, how did you know my son passed the exam?" The uncle, confused, said, I didn't." A woman from downstairs said, "Out buying breakfast?" My mom answered, "My son passed the exam. Of course it's time for breakfast." The woman responded, "Oh well, congratulations then." They even threw a small party, booking a few tables and inviting relatives and friends. I walked around from table to table like some sort of lucky charm, getting an early taste of the awkwardness of a wedding banquet. There's no hurdle you can't get over, only endless ones waiting. Oh well, who else but my parents would go to such lengths? After seeing off all the guests, my mom and I returned to take care of my dad. The old man was already drunk. He was holding on to my mom, asking, "Honey, do you love me? Do you love me?" My mom rolled her eyes but still patiently answered, "Yes, yes, I love you." I felt like a stray dog on the sidewalk getting kicked. When she had a moment, my mom shoved a piece of chocolate into my mouth. She said, "David, you haven't eaten much today. Eat a little now, then order something later." My dad butted in. "Honey, why are you giving it to him and not me?" "My mom, what are you going to eat? Your blood sugar is sky high." I was speechless. Dogs shouldn't eat chocolate anyway. Because of everything with Maria, our family had been under a lot of pressure lately, but luckily the storm has finally passed. Oddly enough, Maria's parents have stayed quiet without making any moves. When Maria was first arrested, her mother called me in a rage, cursing me out in the vilest and most malicious tone I had ever heard. But now that Maria has been officially charged, how could her mother be doing nothing? That's not like her at all. My mom didn't worry one bit. She said, "What can she do? She's probably too busy dealing with her own mess to come after you." My dad has a lot of connections, so once he heard about all the things Maria had done, he sent someone to investigate her hometown, H. They dug around for a while and finally uncovered some details. It turned out that Maria's mother, Lou, had changed her name after high school and then changed it back after college. As for herself, she wasn't a standout student in high school, but during the college entrance exam she shocked everyone with an exceptional performance, getting into a top university in another province. Interestingly, one of her classmates who came from a poor family and had always performed very well academically ended up failing the college entrance exam. That classmate got married young and had to work out of town to survive. The name of this classmate matched the name Lou used during her university years. In a news video, a woman with a tired face and eyes full of despair appeared with her ID card and told her story. She could have changed her fate and had a better life, but all of that had been stolen by Lou. My dad had said from the start that Maria wasn't the first and wouldn't be the last to cheat on an exam like that. But he never expected it to be a family tradition. Those who always look for shortcuts often struggle to truly dedicate themselves to hard work. Ghosts in the end forget they were once human. The sun always shines, and its light reaches every corner. The wise steer clear of love. The heartless are the first to move on. I'll have a stable government job, while she'll be stuck at the sewing machine. We both have bright futures ahead.